We're now joined by number 5 ranked UFC welterweight Stephen Thompson, and we'll take our first set of questions from Jay Anderson with Stateside Press.
Wonder Boy, welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be back.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a while. It's been over a year since you last competed, and you're returning to a very different landscape with the pandemic, no crowds, the safety protocols and testing. Does it have a bit of a surreal feel to it, or have you seen enough of it just watching from the outside that you felt prepared?
Yeah, man, I feel prepared watching the fights. And of course, my very first fight in the UFC, there was literally nobody in the stands because that was the first fight there. So got a little experience there with that. But I'm just excited to be back and glad to be back and ready to put on a show for the fans.
And a main event with Jeff Neal. Records can be deceiving sometimes. You got a similar number of fights, but you're definitely the veteran here. You've got your kickboxing background as well, and he's the young up-and-comer. The media and fans read a lot into those storylines, but does it matter to you at the end of the day who you're fighting here?
Not really. I mean, he could be the top five or the champion or the number 15th ranked guy. Jeff Neal's a beast. And if you fight in the UFC, I mean, come on, you're a dangerous man. So, and anything can happen out there. So, preparing for this fight is definitely my number one. Been focused for it. And Jeff Neal's no joke. He's been knocking dudes out. He's 5-0 in the UFC. And he's a big welterweight, very strong. So I know he's going to use the smaller cage to his advantage. But whatever the fight goes, I'm going to be ready for it.
Were you surprised at all to see him coming back so soon after that, what was called a life and death experience he had back in August?
Yeah, man. I mean, the guy recovered like no other. I know he's a young and he's an athlete, but Lord, I was like, I didn't really know how serious it was. But he almost died, this guy. And now I'm getting ready to face him Saturday, which is kind of scary. The guy's almost dying, and now I'm getting ready to fight him. So he's a fighter for sure. So not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, he's game.
He's only had, I believe, maybe one 5-round fight, and I think it came outside of the UFC, obviously. Do you feel you have the edge if it does go into deep waters?
I don't like thinking that. Just for my psyche, my confidence, I'm prepared for the best Jeff Neal come Saturday night. I know he's a smart and intelligent guy. He's got a lot of intelligent coaches around him, so I know he's going to be prepared. And, the first thing I think of, if I go out there thinking that, he's not prepared, and then he is, how's that going to affect you mentally, So I'm always prepared for the worst. I'm always prepared for, just a grueling fight. I don't like predicting anything, any knockouts. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just visualize my hand being raised at the end of the fight.
And last one for me, I mean, I don't want to use the G word, but it did come up in interviews recently. Does it bother you to be hearing the gatekeeper talk at this point?
It doesn't really bother me. I just know what I'm capable of, and that I've got a lot more in me. And, I'm 37 years old. I'll be 38 in February, but I feel like I'm 25 and still improving every day. I came in this game fairly late, so I haven't taken a ton of damage. The only time I've been knocked out was with Anthony. He's actually right across the hall from me right now. But I feel fine, man. I feel awesome. I know that I could be champion in 2021, and that's my goal.
All right. Well, best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
We'll take the next set of questions from Sumik Data with Sportskeeda.
Hey, Wonder Boy, welcome back, and I hope you're doing well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So it's been a while since we've seen you compete in the UFC, of course, and times have changed a lot since the last time you fought. So how has the preparation been for you in the lead up to this fight during this unusual times in this pandemic?
To be honest with you, I've been out for a year. Broke both my hands a year ago, and the whole pandemic thing. And of course, everybody's been out in quarantine. But where I come from, a little small town of Simpsonville, it hasn't been too bad. We had to close down the gym for maybe 2 months, and we had to innovate, do some online classes and things. But when you got access to a gym, it's kind of hard not to stay in shape, hard not to still improve. So, I lived there. And even though I was injured for a while, there was always something that I can do, working on my kicks, working on my movement, working on my wrestling. Nothing slowed down for me, to be honest with you. Helping fighters get ready for theirs, helping Chris Weidman get ready for his fight kept me in shape as well. So during this whole pandemic thing, gave me a chance to heal up, to be honest with you, but my skill levels improved tremendously.
Okay, so heading into this weekend, you had mentioned you'll be ready for Jeff Neal's wrestling and ground game, but of course, you being one of the best strikers in the fight game, between you and your opponent right now. So, how do you see this fight playing out come this weekend?
Well, Jeff Neal, like I said, he's a big welterweight. He's a very strong welterweight. Keeps his right side forward. He loves to throw his left hand. He tries to hit you with that left hand, kind of the same as Conor McGregor. He hits you with it, you're going out. He also has a left high kick that's been dropping people. So that's just another element in his game I got to watch out for. But the guy's improving every day, every time you see him fight, and that's a dangerous guy. He's doing a lot more wrestling, clinch work. You see that in his last few fights. So, I'm prepared for wherever the fight goes. I got Chris Weidman, Carl Reed, great wrestlers, Carlos Machado, great grapplers that have been helping me get ready for this fight. So, like I said before, wherever the fight goes, I'm going to be prepared for it. And I visualize my hand being raised at the end of this fight.
Okay, and I also got to ask you this. You're someone who has always been very calm, very composed, and you don't seem to engage in any sort of trash talk with your opponent. Is there any sort of secret behind you being able to stay in this composed zone of yours?
I don't know. I think it just has a lot to do with who I am and how I was brought up. I was brought up in the martial arts, and through the martial arts, was able to teach me, it's a very humbling sport, right? Very humbling sport for sure. But it allows you to be able to be put in uncomfortable situations and know how to be, to cope with that. And that's in everyday life. But the martial arts has helped me be able to do that in every aspect of my life. If it's the fight game, if it's outside of it, I know people do a lot of trash talk, and I just eat them up with niceness. Sometimes it has a reverse effect. Like they start getting angry because they can't get under my skin. But I just eat them up with niceness, man. I just put a smile on my face and keep going. Of course, I got a good support system, good family, good friends who keep a small circle to keep me motivated and focused. And nothing really gets me frustrated. And I think the martial arts has a lot to do with that for sure.
Okay, one final question for me. Speaking of niceness, you're obviously known as the NMF of the fight game, but I'm just curious, in the back of your mind, have you ever considered possibly fighting for the BMF title? You have a win over Jorge Masvidal, after all.
I know, right? I mean, I know he had mentioned fighting me if he had won the title from Usman. He said he would like to run it back with me. So I know, my name is still up there with him. I would love to fight him again. He's ranked higher than me. He's given me inspiration because I beat him at UFC 217, and now he's ranked higher and super popular, which is awesome. But I think that would be cool. That would be epic. NMF versus the BMF. You don't have to be like a trash talker to be the BMF, right? You just got to be a bad dude in the cage. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, fair enough, sir. Well, I look forward to a fight this weekend, and good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take our next set of questions from Omer Mursavici with S Sport.
Maybe not.
Omer?
You hear me?
Hey, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. How are you, Wonderboy?
Doing good. Doing good. How about yourself?
Thank you so much. You're always positive. What is the first thing you tell yourself when you wake up in the morning?
What's the first thing I wake up and tell myself?
Yeah.
I need to go get something to eat. No, man. I mean, I wake up with a smile on my face, even though I'm not a morning person. I wake up with a smile on my face, ready to get on stay on the grind. If it's teaching karate classes, driving the bus, picking up kids, training. I don't know, man. I do it all with a smile on my face and just happy to be a part.
Yeah. How many more wins do you think you need to earn at shot?
I think with a good win over Jeff Neal, hopefully the UFC gives me one more fight, maybe somebody in the top 5. And, like I said before, 2021 is definitely my year. Going to be champion 2021 for sure.
What is your most regretful defeat?
My most regretful, I don't think I actually have any regretful defeats. I learned a lot through all of them. And the one fight that I felt like I actually lost was the Anthony Pettis when he knocked me out. Obviously, I was beating him, and then I don't even remember the end of the second round. I had to go back and watch it, but I was out. And to be honest with you, I learned a lot from that. Like, it was always a fear in the back of my head. Close to 80 something fights and never been knocked out. You start to wonder, man. It's bound to happen. Like, is it going to happen? What does it feel like? And to be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. I woke up in the back, didn't have a headache. I was great. It just goes to show, you lose focus for 1 second, your opponent can take advantage of it. And somebody like Anthony Pettis, who's been the title holder for, at 155 and fought some of the best fighters in the world, took advantage of it for sure. I don't have any regretful fights because I learned from all of them.
Okay, my last question. Who is the greatest of all time in all MMA history, on your opinion?
In my opinion, I'm kind of biased because this guy was my inspiration to switch from kickboxing to MMA. Trained with him for many years. George St. Pierre. I think GSP is the GOAT in MMA. And like I said, he was my inspiration and the original NMF for sure. So in my eyes, it's GSP.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. You're my idol since day one. Turkey
You,
loves
brother.
you, man. Good luck
I
on
appreciate you, man.
Saturday.
You got it, buddy. Have a good one.
We'll take our next set of questions from Dane Martin with MMA Fighting.
D. Martin. What's up, D?
Heading into this fight, you have that's getting a top-ranked opponent. I know you have a ton of respect for Jeff Neal, but do you feel like there is a sense of maybe people are sleeping on you a little bit because you've been, at the top of this division for so long and you fought so many good guys? It's almost like people are sleeping on you a little bit.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope that's not what they're thinking. But, the two losses with Woodley, the loss with Till and Anthony, I figured that I was going to have to work my way back up. And obviously the win over Vicente Luque, winning fight of the night, kind of, put me in the limelight again. Then I was out for a year with broken hands, the pandemic, collarbone injury. So, out of sight, out of mind. It's funny how fast people can forget about you, and move on to the next person. So with this fight, if I go out there and put on a good performance, and I'll be back in the limelight and hopefully get a top five opponent and move on to the title. So that's the game plan for this fight in 2021 as well.
You faced a lot of great strikers during your career, and there's always that fight you wants to beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson because you are such a phenomenal striker. And I know Jeff has said that leading into this fight. He believes you're the best striker in the division. He wants to take that title from you. Do you embrace those kind of fights a little bit when guys are saying they want to stand and train with you? They want to test your strike and you want to test your stand-up?
Yeah, I do embrace it, but I also don't believe that that's what they're actually going to do. I know that Jeff Neal is a good fighter. He's got good boxing. He's been knocking dudes out, but I think he's going to use his size for this one. And if he doesn't right off the bat, he will eventually, because most people look to hand me up, to clinch me, to get me up against the cage, and I think he'll use his size in the smaller cage to do so. So do I truly believe that he's actually going to go out there and test it? Maybe for a bit, but eventually I think he's going to think otherwise and try and hand me up at some point. So like I said before, I've been training, got good guys coming in, helping me get ready for this fight, knowing at some point he's going to try to. Got Chris Weidman came in for the camp, and he's been there since, his first fight with Anderson Silva. So my wrestling's improved tremendously. My striking is still getting better. So yeah, man, I'm ready for wherever the fight goes.
Obviously, coming out of the last fight, you could have broken hands and then dealing with the collarbone injury. Yeah, you're going to blame Chris Weidman.
It's all Chris Weidman. Thanks a lot, Chris.
But obviously you can't predict how things are going to play out. But if everything does go well in this fight, would you like to have a busier 2021? Because you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, in this sport, we are kind of out of sight, out of mind. When you're not right in front of us, we tend to look at the next guy in line. Do you hope to have a much busier 2021?
100%. Being out for a year, it's lit that fire in me like no other, man. I'm itching the bits to step back out there and do it again. Like I was saying, But yeah, definitely, good win over Jeff Neal. We go out there and face somebody again, hopefully no injuries. So I'm not healed up. It's funny, the older you get, the slower you heal up. You know what I mean? It's terrible. But hopefully no injuries, and we'll be back at it at the beginning of the year.
And last one for me. In the Luque fight, coming off the Pettis fight, you went out there and fought another real guy who kind of had some hype behind him. He had a good win streak, had some, solid wins under his belt, and then you go out there, you have a fight of the night, and you do your thing. You go out there and do your thing. Jeff Neal, kind of the same thing, coming in 5 wins in a row, 4 knockouts or submissions out of this 5 wins. Do you feel like this is kind of another showcase for you to kind of remind people that, Wonder Boy is still here and you're not going anywhere?
100%, man. That's exactly what it is, and that's how I'm looking at it. Yes, he's a tough opponent, but and he's undefeated in the UFC as well. This is my chance to go out there and let everybody know that Stephen Wonder Boy Thompson is here to stay.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take our next questions from Eric Edison with Kimura.sc.
Hello, Eric.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Doing good, my brother. How about yourself?
Not bad. So I was gonna ask you, your last fight was a little bit over a year ago, and do you believe in ring rust? And if so, what have you done to get yourself ready for your first fight in over a year?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't feel like I would have any ring rust because I'm staying active in the gym and haven't stopped since my hands were broken. I've been training since I got back from my last fight, to be honest with you. I wasn't able to punch anything, but I was able to work on my movement, my kicks, work in positioning, drilling, things like that. I've been doing that for a year now. Even during the pandemic, I was training. So I feel like I haven't slowed down. Yeah, I haven't been in front of the cameras, but I felt like I haven't missed. I feel like my last fight was like a week ago, to be honest with you. I feel like it hadn't felt like a year. So I feel great, man, and I'm confident stepping into this fight.
Fair enough. And this fight was supposed to be 3 rounds, but now it's 5. What have you done in your training to adapt to that? And do you prefer 3 or 5 rounds?
I prefer 5 rounds, and I train for 5 rounds, even though this was originally scheduled for 3 5s. I was still doing the championship rounds. It just gives me confidence. If I can go out there in the gym and push myself for 5-minute rounds, 3 5s are going to be easy. So I was already training 5 5s. So when I got the word that, hey, I'm going to be headlining this event, which is awesome. I think this is my 7th headliner, which is pretty cool. And doing 5 5s and being in the last card of the year. Let's go, man. I'm ready.
Nice. And being Swedish, I want to ask you one question about Chimaev. He was supposed to headline this card, and he's one of the most hyped up fighters in the division right now. What do you have to say about his quick rise, and would you like to face him in 2021 if possible?
I have nothing against Hamzat at all. He's had 3 fights and he wrecked those guys. He fought once at 170 at the 170 division, and he's already ranked number 15. And I kind of called it. I was like, why is the UFC pushing this guy so much? And I was like, watch Khabib retire. And they gotta keep pushing that market somehow. So if he goes out there and he just dominates Leon Edwards, which on paper I don't see that happening, because I just haven't seen enough of Hamzat to really get behind him yet. But if he does, then I will say that he is the man. He's a good fighter. I just haven't seen that yet. But he goes out there and does work. I could probably be facing him in 2021 for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Multi MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Wonderboy. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man.
Okay, man. You're back. You faced. Okay, sorry. I confused. You're back in the octagon. Your last fight was a year ago or even more. So how are you feeling coming into this fight?
Feel great, man. Confident more than ever. I'm just glad to be back out there to fight in front of the fans of the UFC, man. Like I was saying before, I'm itching to this to get back out there. Being out for a year is terrible. Even though I was out, I was always training, though. For a year, I've been training and helping fighters get ready for their fights. I helped Chris Weidman get ready for his. I had some injuries along the way, which kept me out. But I'm back, baby, and ready to rock.
I get it. So I mean, your YouTube channel is amazing. You got a lot of fans for that YouTube, or you keep the same amount of fans, or do you think your fans became more?
I think more. I mean, with the YouTube channel, I'm actually, collab with some really good, really good other YouTubers, and pulled some other fans that never watched the UFC before, and now turned them into UFC fans. So I think it's great. The YouTube thing was just something that we're going to do for the fun of it. Me and my brother, we didn't know it was going to blow up like it did. We've got close to 300,000 subscribers, in just a little over a year. So, which is pretty crazy. We're loving it, man. We're just having fun with it. And I think that's why people like it. The personalities, and people want to see what is Wonder Boy really like. Is he just like this in front of the camera, or is he like this all the time? I think people like the vibe of the channel. So we're having fun with it, man, and we're going to keep on keeping on,
To be honest, this is one of my favorite channels at the moment. I mean, Sweet Tea with your dad, I mean, it's a very good channel.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, do you think the nicest Mother F title is on the line in this way?
You know what? Jeff Neal's a nice dude too. He's a very nice guy. It's like with Vicente Luque. I've got the title, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think he's as nice as me. I'm the nicest guy in the UFC. It's funny because I saw it was like a competition or something online. I think Junior Dos Santos won the nicest guy in MMA. I'm like, what? I've got the NMF belt, man. What's going on right now? But yeah, man, he's a super cool dude, Jeff Neal.
Okay. So if you get the W, would you mind fighting Jake Paul at boxing?
I would crush Jake Paul. For one, as an athlete, it doesn't make sense. As an athlete, these guys should not even think about, they're just not worthy to step in the cage or the ring with these guys that they're going to be fighting. Not worthy. But as somebody who's dabbled in the YouTube and social media and stuff, you got to take your hat off to these Jake and Logan Paul. These guys are making some money and making moves. So hats off to them in the business aspect. But the athlete in me is like, why is this even happening? Like, they don't even deserve it.
Sure.
You got to earn the right? You got to earn the right to step in the ring with these legends.
Yes, that's you're right on this one. And would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans, because you have a lot of fans here in Ecuador?
Well, everybody in Ecuador, this is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I love you, and I hope you guys have a happy holiday.
Thank you very much for your time, Wonderboy, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you, buddy.
That's all the time we have for you today, Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And that was easy. That was awesome.